Oh, and I shut it off a little early, technical difficulties, but that's all right. I'm Scott. I'm the Sober Heathen. Thank you for listening. We're going to get right into it because my truly great friend doesn't have a whole lot of time, but we got important things to talk about. Eric, my buddy, I know you're going through some stuff. How you doing?
Uh, Not too well right now. I mean, last few weeks has been a struggle, real bad. Just haven't been sleeping very well at all. It's just like I'm always in this constant fight, battle with my demons, and it's like I'm losing. You know, uh, yeah, it's just been really rough. I mean, going on like 2 3 weeks with sleep that was just like I'm only getting like an hour or two of sleep a night and working, and it's just been really rough.
Yeah, well, I can relate to that. But I just got to tell you, man, I love you, dude. And you're doing this is so huge. And I hope that every time I do this, I get on here and I talk to this camera to people that aren't listening, or they end up listening, and I feel better doing it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so how is the fight with the substance? Is that going well?
it's going well. At times it could not be going very well. You know what I mean? It's like it wouldn't take long for me to just say fuck it and use. You know what I mean? That's and it wouldn't take very much at all. I mean, just something stupid. Just lose my patience or might um get angry and just at something or whatever and just say screw it. It's just I mean it's getting close. And that's why I you know was talking to you and I was talking to other people, reaching out a little bit, but it's still a bit of a struggle.
Fuck yeah, this shit ain't easy. And you talked about reaching out to Ben, who was the guy that was kind of overseeing us at the treatment center that Eric and I went to. You're doing that. You're reaching out to people. You're staying connected. So you're doing all that you can do, man. But please don't lose sight of the things that you are doing. You got a great job, right?
Yeah,
And
I got a great crew. Yeah,
yeah, and you look good. You look good, dude.
thank you.
And you're not afraid to talk about it, dude. That's fucking strength. I mean,
No, I'm not afraid to talk about it. You know what I mean? It's just I mean like well I mean we were in treatment together for all that time, and it's just I didn't have no choice in my addiction. You know what I mean? My family was doing drugs with me when I was 5 years old, and then got burned when I was 11. I got addicted to morphine, so I mean that was over. But just been doing drugs my damn near my whole life. And that this is all new to me, trying to live sober, and trying to
yeah,
find stuff to do that makes me happy and stuff like that. Because like I said, it's all new. I don't know this life.
it is, and it's some people talk about I talk about being in addiction with alcohol for 20 years. Your story absolutely is almost from go. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to share more than you want to on here, but you talked about, the things that happened when you were younger, and those are some terrible things. I'm not gonna talk. You tell what you want to tell, and I'm not pressuring you to tell a damn thing. You being here just talking a little bit is enough for me. I know your story. I know what you've been through, and I can't imagine, having to clean up more of my plate than I had to do myself. So it's okay, man. It's okay to struggle a little bit, especially when you got the strength to keep reaching out and keep talking. You gotta, dude. I wish I could give you a big fucking hug and tell you I love you in person, because I do, and I just you mean the world to me. And what you're doing, I'm so proud of you, man. Whether it means anything or not, like, you're on a podcast. Last second, you just agreed to do it because you know that talking about it's good for you, and people listen to this thing. As much as I try to convince myself that people don't listen to this thing, they do, and you're going to help people, man, and it's
Yeah,
going to
I
help
mean,
yourself, I think.
yeah. It's just like the people. that don't know addiction, like my mom, she's like, well, just quit. I was like, yeah, if it was that damn easy, I would, I just, and people that like us, just can't, just, it's not that easy, and then people that are sober that don't know addiction, they don't understand, you know, and I was talking to my mom actually, about a month ago, and I went down and seen her after about 2 years of not seeing her, um, and talked to her about this, what I've been going through and shit like that. It started. I finally, I think she started to open her eyes a little bit about what this is like. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but is what it is. With her. But
Well,
yeah, I mean, but
no, if it was a choice, Harbor Hall wouldn't have anything to do.
no,
You know,
correct, right,
I mean, doctors wouldn't have anything to do. Therapists wouldn't have anything to do. If you could just say, you know what, I'm done. It wouldn't be a fucking addiction, and
right,
it's irritating as fuck. It's not a choice. At a certain point, it's not a choice. That's all there is to it. Your habit, I think when it's a habit, and this is just my thoughts, when it's a habit, you have a choice. But once that habit turns into obsession, which it fucking does, the choice is no longer there. And anybody
sure,
that's read the Big Book by Bill W., he says it pretty well. He's like, he had decided to quit drinking. He put in some sobriety, and next thing you know, he's banging on the bar. How the fuck did I get here? It just happens because that's
right,
our go-to for so fucking long to not. We know now, right, that it didn't really make us feel better, but we didn't have to feel, right?
right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. It's like you're talking about feel. Uh, when I was in my addiction, I was bad. I mean, I was bad. I mean, I was um, like I said, I started doing drugs at 5 with my family. They introduced me to it. Then at 11, I got burned. Spent 2.5 months in the hospital. Did 7 surgeries and got addicted to morphine. And it was so bad in the hospital that they were weaning me off that morphine, and uh, I would take and watch the clock, the second hand on the clock, go around for 1 whole hour, just waiting for that next shot of morphine. I mean, it was bad. And then just one thing after another, just in life, just accidents. I was in a bad car accident when I was 16 years old. I was in the back of an S10 with my buddy Bill, and he let his girlfriend drive, and we were just going down some back road out in the country and gravel road, and she dropped a cigarette. She went to pick it up, and she pulled the steering wheel and hit an oak tree head on at 60 miles an hour. Didn't even brake. Didn't have a chance to brake or nothing. I happened to see it coming, and I was squatting down in the back of the truck talking to Bill and talking to girls in the front of the truck, and I stood up and blocked myself and caved the cab of the truck in on the girls. My buddy was killed right next to me, and I thought the girls were killed in the truck, after I caved the cab in on them. It's like, you know, flew out of the truck, and I'm out walking around and walking up to the vehicle, see if I can help girls and stuff like that, because they looked like, I thought they were all dead, because they were just motionless. Uh, Bill, he was like, looked like he was sleeping, but that he hit his head on the cab support at the impact, crushed half his head, and then I was only in the hospital that time for like 3 days, but the girls were in there for weeks, just just like unreal, how bad the accident was, and I was able to survive that and literally walk away, pretty much, just a broken wrist and some stitches and torn lip, some, uh, bad laceration, picking glass in my head for like 6 months, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was rough, then I got on the drugs again,
Yeah.
and then 2 more car accidents that summer, with other kids, because our school wasn't allowing school buses to run that summer. They went past some millage or some shit, then I was literally going from one school to the other school. I got into an accident, and then a week later, turn around, same damn thing, got into an accident going from one school to the other school. Just then, yeah, it's been crazy, uh, living like this, when I should have been dead, several times over again before I was 18 years old, but something's keeping me here and I don't know, why or what for, and I probably never will know, you know what I mean? But
No,
you know,
no,
something,
and we don't have to have an explanation for it. The thing is, you're here. You helped me more as much as anybody um, in Petoskey in treatment. You might have been the most help being there and supporting me through all the bullshit. I mean, you drove 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever it was, to come save my ass when I relapsed. I mean, you didn't have to do that.
no,
You,
I didn't have
you,
to, but you're my brother, man, and
yeah,
yeah, it's just and just living that life for so long, being, just being on accidents and then being shot and, then running heavy equipment for 17 years, and then that taking a toll on your body. And, and then just getting drugs and it was getting so bad with the drugs that I actually had a doctor in my hometown where I was living at the time that had the same last name as mine. So I kind of buddied him, you know what I mean? And was getting Vicodin from him and shit like that, you know. And then when I couldn't get Vicodin or whatever, I was buying off the street. And it was getting so bad that and expensive because I would take 10, 12, 15 or whatever Norco 10s at one time. I'd have like 10, 15 pills in my hand and boop, swallow. It was getting that bad. And uh, getting mad because I was spending the money on that because being so expensive, the buzz only lasts in half hour, 45 minutes. So then, of course, that being expensive, you turn to other shit that's cheaper
yeah,
and harder. So I turned to heroin, meth, crack, coke. I was doing it all. I mean, uh, perks. I mean, anything that you could possibly imagine that they had out there. Shit they don't make no more. I was doing, and and it was crazy. It's like I take my cell phone out uh, when I was my bad part of my addiction. Just like I was after my grandfather had died. Uh, I would take big old line of heroin, big old line of meth, big old line of crack, put on my phone and snort all three of them at one time. And I'm not talking. It was little shit either. I'm like half gram to a gram of meth. I snort at once. You know, right? Depending on the heroin, how strong it was. 3 times to a half a gram. I had to do it just to get me started. And then just it was stupid. Not realizing what I was doing. I mean, it didn't care because,
yeah.
like you said about feelings, it's like you don't want to feel no more. You want to be taken out of reality, and that's one thing with me is I hated reality.
Mhm.
So I wanted to be taken out of it, and I didn't care if I lived or died or not. You know what I mean? And just because I hated reality so much, it was just too hard to cope with it.
Yeah, that's really what it gets to, and it will always get worse. It never gets better once it gets to a certain point. I mean, I've told the story of the podcast of me climbing up the stairs, Spider-Man style, because I couldn't walk. I knew something was terribly wrong. My kidneys were shutting down. I didn't know that, but I knew something was terribly wrong. And I had my 98-year-old grandmother come upstairs with me and sit on the bed because I thought, well, I'm going to die. Was my thought to call 911? No, my thought was, well, I'm going to sleep. And if I wake up, hopefully I'll be better so I can keep drinking. Right. I mean,
Right?
it, this is
You know,
a disease, man.
yeah. And then I'm in my bad part of my addiction. The worst part of it, literally doing grams of shit every day. You know, um, I'm just, even though I hated reality, and at times I still do now, because it's still a struggle. I'm up here living in Indian River, and I don't know anybody. I stick to the house. I work and come home. That's all I do. And just a lot of times I have that feeling, just like screw it, let's go get some, because there's for a while there I was having some very vivid dreams of using, and I'm would wake up and first thought of my mind was to jump in my truck and go to Saginaw, you know, and then I pumped the brakes on that. It's like, whoa, don't do that. It's just, you know, it's living like I said before, like living this life is all new to me. This is my first time. That was my first time in treatment with you, and so I come in there a virgin, not knowing shit about this, so it's been
That's
rough.
that's another thing that you need to. It's really hard to fucking give ourselves compliments, but I'm telling you is the same things that you would tell me if the roles were reversed. One time in treatment after that long of use, and to put up the fight that you're putting up right now is absolutely incredible. And I guarantee you that's exactly what people will say when they listen to this. One fucking treatment doesn't do it forever. How long were you in there?
Well, I went in April 6th, 2022, and then I got this place here in Indian River on December 15th of 2022. So what, about 8 months?
Right, and half of that at least was sober living, right?
Yeah, it was about, yeah, 4 or 5 months at least, about 5 months. Yeah, I think it was sober living.
Yeah. So I mean, that just you spent at least 3 months in treatment, actual treatment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
residential. Yeah.
Excuse me. So that's something else that people need to realize. You look at Eric's story and starting, being around it since 5, and then going through being burnt, and that story that you tell about that is just it's unreal. And then you have to have painkillers when you go through that. Absolutely. And then to need that and to have access to it, and then that douchebag doctor with the same last name, I'd like to cut his nuts off for doing that shit. But 90 days helps. You can't fix this shit in 30 days. I don't care what anybody says. It didn't work for me the first time I tried it. 60 days didn't work the second time I tried it. 90 days, I had a little better footing, but it took even a little bit more after that. So you did the right thing, man. You stayed as long as you possibly could. And don't let what people have told me since I started doing this thing is what I've learned, and I need to get you on Twitter because the recovery community on Twitter, no offense to people on Facebook, but Twitter community is fantastic, dude. These people are outstanding. And rest is recovery. So if all you can manage right now is to shoot your buddy me a message once in a while, letting me know that you're okay and you need to talk, and then go to work and come home and rest. If that's what you have to do right now to survive, rest is recovery, brother. Do what
Yeah,
you
I
got to
mean,
do.
the rest thing. Yeah, I mean, it was bad. I mean, literally, I didn't know how I was even functioning. I mean, with the not being able to sleep.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I just like literally would wake up or go to sleep, and then wake up literally like less than an hour later and wouldn't be able to go back to sleep for hours. I mean, it was just unreal, surreal how it has been for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, that's
And I
anxiety,
finally,
man. I'm not a doctor, but I just it was a month ago I was going through that. Like I'd sleep like 4 hours max, like in total throughout the day. And I just wake up and I couldn't stop. You get sorry, I did not mean to cut you off.
no, you're good. No, you're good.
I'm sitting here trying to pick you up the best I can in a little bit of time we got because
I hear you, man.
I need to pick you up. It's June, by the way, June 23rd, I'll be up there to get my jewelry off my ankle. So
Awesome.
let's make sure that we can see each other in person and have a Dr. Pepper or something.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll definitely do that. Um, yeah, I'd like to see you, man. I've been thinking about you a lot.
Yeah, I
You know,
fucking miss you, dude. I wish we
I
were
miss you
closer.
too. And I wish it was too,
Well, so
yeah.
what are you doing outside of that? Do you do any journaling? Do you do gratitude lists, affirmations that I used to annoy you with?
uh, no, I don't do none of that shit, man. Nothing. I just like it. My work schedule. I, work 12-hour shifts, whether actually like 12 and a half, 13-hour shifts. But by the time I get out of work, come home, get a little bit of rest, do whatever I got to do, am I running around and shit like that. Get home, I get a couple of hours of sleep and turn on, get back up, go back to work, especially this week, I'm covering for another maintenance guy at the shop. So I got to work tonight, tomorrow night, which for this would be my normal weekend starting today. But I got to cover for guy night tomorrow.
Well,
But
how about this? I didn't tell you this, so it's kind of a deception on my part, but I went Facebook Live on this as well. And there's
you asked
somebody asked me to see if you think if, and you can probably guess who this is, said if his ink pen clicking will help you out.
say that again.
If clicking his ink pen would help you out.
You know what, RJ? You can shove that pen right up your ass. Shove it right up your ass.
Oh shit, God, that was great. Our meetings were great. I can't believe John Duty and Dean weren't a little more intimidated. You and RJ are big sons of bitches. You know what I mean? And you both got that death stare on
Right.
you. You know what I mean? Like to challenge you two in the same meeting was quite ballsy on their part. So see, you still got you got connections on here, man. You're doing well, dude. Just I try to add one thing that's easy. Write a couple lines at night of just how you're feeling, and at least throw a positive in there, dude, because you're doing it.
Yeah,
You're
I'm doing
fucking
it.
doing it, man.
It's I was telling myself, that I need to slow down on the work, because I was using work as a codependency.
Sure.
And I was looking at it as like a positive codependency because it at first it was, it was keep me my mind sidetracked, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to go into work um with my head all messed up, messing with that high voltage and shit like that, and
Fuck yeah.
um but now it's getting to the point to where uh it's turning into uh not so good of a codependency, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
I'm just working too much. I went to slow down a couple weeks ago because I was going in like one day during the week, during the day, to get extra hours and stuff like that, but I haven't been doing that the last couple weeks. And then, and I went to maintenance guy that hired me, the lead. He was, wasn't bugging me or not like that, but he was like asking me, he's like, dude, he's like, I got these tickets to go to Avatar. Let's go see Avatar, man. Like, no, I'm good. I'm like, no. I'm like, because I'm not a people person, and I don't like being around a lot of people.
Right.
And he's like, we're probably it was about a month and a half or so. He kept asking me, and finally I gave in, said, piss on it, let's go.
All right.
So went down to a music theater a couple weeks ago, seen Avatar, first concert I've ever been to, on hell of a show. I was like looking around, and it was awesome to sit there and then look and watch like 7, 8-year-old kids, there at the concert, and I look around and see like mid late 70s people, age group, there at the concert. It
Yeah.
was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So see, dude, like and the solid it's there's a difference between isolating and taking time for yourself. I'll give you an example. I was just at Miley's for 2 nights. And I found that my anxiety goes a little nuts. I don't feel like I fit in yet because it's a work in progress. And so I could have stayed all weekend, but I chose to come back to have this time to myself to do what I've been building partly the podcast, but the things that I do here to meditate and to do things where I don't know, there's things that need to be mended. So another thing I can tell you is that I'm a big sports guy. I love baseball. I love the NBA. Well, I don't love the NBA. I hate the NBA, but I love basketball. I don't even watch that shit hardly at all anymore because it doesn't interest me like it used to when I was drinking. So I don't, I still love the game, the sports itself. So you got to explore and find those things. And if you don't want to be around people, okay, maybe fishing. If maybe you can do fishing. Maybe you can find. Maybe you're a nerd on the inside now. Maybe I rubbed off on you. Maybe you need to get a computer and play some World of Warcraft or something. I don't know.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
but RJ said he's doing the same thing, man. He said he's working 12 days straight, 10 to 14 hours a day. You can look back at that and you can take that as an accomplishment at the end of the day. Obviously, you get that paycheck rolling in. That's a huge plus. So now, just before, I know you said you got to go. So you tell me when we need to end this. I just wanted to ask, how's the legal stuff going? Any updates on that?
Nope, haven't heard a damn thing. Called down there. Oh shit, month or so ago. My attorney that I had doesn't work there no more, so they gave me another attorney, and then turn around and in that same conversation told me that that attorney that they just gave me might not be my attorney. Nothing. So I have not received any paperwork. I haven't received nothing. So
Are you paying for your attorney or are you just taking the court one?
I was gonna just do the court one, but I got some money saved up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how much it would cost. With my record I got now.
Dude, it won't be that bad. Search around and find one. I can tell you this: when I got my fourth OWI, and my lawyer got my fourth one dropped to his second one, and then when I went in to get sentenced for my third one, which hadn't happened, even after I got the fourth one, it was 2.5 years later. I had a court-appointed attorney, and they didn't budge on anything. So my fourth got dropped to a second. Somehow that fucking makes sense. And then the third one that was 2.5 years old that they were just getting around to doing something about it didn't budge at all. It makes no sense to me. It is totally worth it. You do what you got to do, but if you can save up and give them their down payment and then make payments after that, dude, it's going to help you out. I feel.
Yeah. It's, like that is crazy you said that because while yours being 2.5 years later, when they finally come around, what gets me is, I was at the time I wasn't grateful, wasn't thankful or whatever, but now that I look back on it, I'm glad that Sting did kick in my door, because I was selling the drugs to support my habit. And when they kicked in my door, I got sentenced to a county year. And okay, I went to jail on a county year in on July 15th of 2021. I got out April 5th of 2022. Went to treatment April 6th of 2022. Okay, and then did all that treatment time up until December, I think it was like the first week of December. I got picked up, got pulled over, got picked up on this, what I'm fighting now. Okay, but what happened was all that time that I was in jail, this charges I'm getting picked up on now, getting charged with, are before I even did my county year and shit. And all, so it's like 2 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm looking back at it, if I could have, if they would have picked me up, or it would have been a little faster on their, warrant or whatever, maybe me sitting that county year, they could have run it concurrent. What I mean? But now I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? That's the two charges I got. The maximum, I believe, were 15 years. So I'm not sure, what's going to happen. And then, it's, I worry about it, and then I don't,
Yeah.
but it is what it is, and I gotta, uh, you know, do the time or whatever I gotta do. You know what I mean? I just, it just sucks that been working hard to stay sober and be where I'm at. Like I got this house and and a great career as an industrial mechanic, and got a truck and all that shit. And it's like at times it feels like the rug's being pulled up beneath my feet. It's like I'm trying to go forward and then something
Yeah.
happens. It makes you feel like I'm going backwards. It just sucks.
Well, I get that, but it hasn't yet. And that
Not
doesn't mean
yet,
that it's going to.
right?
That's why I want you to have the best chance that you get if you can put some money aside and get somebody that's going to go in there. I mean, anybody can see what you've done. I mean, you've moved how many hours away and created a life that is away from the lifestyle that you were involved in. And you've completed everything that any court would ever ask you to do in a normal case, in my opinion. So it's really fucking hard for somebody to sit here and say, don't worry about it because that's impossible. But accept that you're doing everything that you can. And
Yeah.
as long as you keep doing what you can do, if they are total fucking douchebags and decide to put you in a cage for all this work that you have done, then I and everybody listening and everybody, all the people on Twitter, I'll make sure your goddamn the store that you get every week is fucking loaded.
No, hell no, don't do that.
No, we're not even going to think about that because it's not going to happen, dude.
No,
It's not going to happen. You have a great life, a great job. You have your own house. You've completed all your treatment. It's fucking great. And you're doing
you know,
great.
I reached out to Ben too about this a couple weeks ago, a few weeks ago, where it was because I did laps back in December and used for a night. Um, and then it just seems uh like people were disappointed, and I get that, because they were like at the hall, they're like holding people different at heights on the pedestal, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And um, it was disappointing to watch, to look at everybody to see how disappointed they were in me when I would screw up, and it, we don't ask for help when our addiction or whatever. We just don't. I never did. I didn't like it. I wouldn't ask for it. I
Well,
reached out to Ben, asked for help, see if I could get like paperwork or they could write letters to my attorney and shit or whatever to help me out. Let them know that the courts know that where I was at, where I am now.
yeah.
But we'll see.
Well, I don't I don't know if anybody listening agrees with me or not, but if you only use one night, if you just, and it was this before, it doesn't matter what it was. If you only use one night after using every single day and you didn't fall back into the patterns, some people are going to blow their fucking nuts when I say that it's use a terminology of a slip. I don't know if I like that word either, but that was a hiccup. If you didn't go back to the way it was, you're still fucking winning. And you didn't lose any of that time that you did before you fucking did that. So it's just a fucking mistake. That's all it is. And it doesn't define what you have done and what you have created since you got there in April of 2022. It doesn't define you. I fucked up. I regret doing it, but I'm almost to 9 fucking months, and I don't even think about drinking alcohol right now. So everything that had to happen to get me to where I am. I got a podcast, dude, where I've had people from 14 different states, 2 from Canada, 2 from London, and 1 from Ireland. I never thought in a million years this would be something that I was doing and people would actually fucking listen. I don't have like a huge crowd, you know what I mean? But life is fucking good. And if I sit there and I worry about the little mistakes that I made, like when I went to my grandpa's and you had to come try to save my stupid ass, You know, if I had to dwell on that, or the OW I got in the parking lot up by the pier up there, you know, I can't anymore. It's done, and yeah, I made a mistake, but you know what? Show me somebody else that is doing anything perfectly, and then I'll say, you know what? Okay, fine. I'm not as cool as they are. But you're doing great, dude. I hope they write letters for you. If my word means anything, I'll write, you know, a 10-page fucking document for you. I'm sure some of the dudes that are listening, I think it's only RJ that we went to treatment with. But just keep your head up, dude, and keep doing what you're doing. You look awesome. I can hear it in your voice that you're, you know, but I think you're just beating the fuck out of yourself. And I hope you can cut yourself a break, because you deserve it.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, it's I do beat myself up a lot, you know, uh, but people are, because I still do IOP and shit like that over at the home. I
There
go
you
to
go.
treatment, I still do the IOP shit, and like I even I want this so bad, I mean, my insurance don't cover it, so I pay out of my pocket, to go there to do my one-on-ones and do my and my group and shit like that, and I don't have to do it. I've already completed the treatment, did what the course wanted me to do, but I want to do it because I know I need it, and it's worth it to me. And I haven't been there in a couple weeks to be. Um, yeah, that they're changing things. They've changed up my counselor a little bit over there, and I changed it back up again. Going to see somebody else, and so it's you know been helping me out, but I've been lacking on that. Where I need to start going more um, over there. But like I said, I pay out my pocket, so it costs me a little bit. It gets a little bit expensive, going over there, every week or every other week, doing the one-on-ones and then doing group and shit. So
Well, I've been wanting to do this with the Sober Heathen name. I've been wanting to start like at least one night a week meeting. So you give me a day and a time that you're off to do a meeting, and then we'll work on RJ. We'll get, since he's listening, we'll get his happy butt in with us, and then I'll open it up to other people, and maybe we can at least see each other via Zoom. My host, my treat, and we'll do what we can. But just text me every day if it helps. I'll bitch to you. You can bitch to me, and we can you know do what we got to do to keep this thing going, man. You're on a good roll, man. I'm super, like I said, I'm super proud of you, and I hate to see you down, but I you got to look in the mirror and be like, dude, I'm doing the best I can, and
yeah,
I'm talking to myself when I say that too.
I hear you, man. It's just like I said. I mean, this is all new to me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you know, um, I just gotta find things that um, I enjoy doing or whatever. Something. Because just working and coming home and not doing anything else isn't working. You know,
yeah.
um, I'm always in my head. Fighting this battle with my demons and shit constantly, every damn day and all day. Uh, and, I just wish that it was true that what they say that the longer you go without using, the easier it gets. But for me, it has not been. Being on drugs for so fucking long,
Yeah.
uh, it's just this has not gotten easy on me yet.
No,
Said it's just like just a constant battle, man, constant
it's
and
coming, dude.
stuff.
It's coming, man. The cliche, and I get tired of hearing the cliches, but I'm gonna fucking use one anyway. Don't quit before the miracle happens. That's another AA thing for you. I didn't believe that there'd ever be a day where my first thought was, boy, I want to fucking drink. And when they told me, when I went up there to get my battery changed the last time, and they told me it was coming off June 23rd, it didn't even cross my mind until after I got back in the car and told Miley, yeah, it comes off next month or whatever. And then I sat there for a little bit, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. every other time I've gotten off probation for, and I'm not really off probation, but every time that I've gotten to where I didn't have to blow or pee or whatever, my first thought was like, fuck yeah, count down the days till I can drink again. That wasn't my first thought. And it just happens. Nobody can tell you when it's going to happen. But I think when you get a little bit of this stress, hopefully, you can talk to somebody from these courts and get an idea, get this put behind you. Hopefully it'll happen sooner than later, man. But the best thing I can say to anybody else, Ryan says, thank you for sharing your story. I think you're doing great. Stay positive. Ryan's a good friend of mine, great friend of mine. You know, it's coming, dude.
Yeah, hoping so, man, because it, like I said, it's been rough and still is. But push through it, the best I can. I can't go back to that lifestyle anymore, the way I was, losing everything I've had twice over. And, just, to see where I came from, when I went to treatment back in December or April of 2022 to where I am now, and what I am now, it's unreal. On how much I've accomplished, and I see that, and and it's like, I mean, like in amazement,
Yeah.
but then it's like I said, I've lost everything twice, and it's like I'm waiting for that something to happen where I just say, screw it, and use again, and because that's what I've done before, and I've put myself in check on that and make sure that I quit thinking like that, and um, just when I got out of jail, New that county year, I didn't have nothing at all, except for the clothes I had on my back. That was literally all I had.
And
Now I
look
got her.
and look where
Now
well,
we're running down.
yeah, look what you've done in a fucking year, dude. One fucking year, man.
You know,
I remember this dude sitting in John Duty's group, like, Eric, how you doing? I'm good.
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 Well, he said it was probably about a month and a half or so, roughly, that before I started talking.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
then
did,
you'd spend a lot of your time, working in the kitchen away from everybody. So you didn't have to talk to people and you sit there, be doing your homework and shit. And I come up and annoy the fuck out of you,
yeah,
seeing how you're doing or whatever. And now look at you. Look at you, dude. This is so, I tell people this, and I'm not just blowing this up your ass. I mean it. I you're a brother to me. This is brave to get on here and talk about this shit. So just stay connected, my friend. You mean the world to me. You're doing it. I'm going to be here for you no matter what. You still got your ring?
yes, I do.
I
Yes, I do.
wear mine every day, and it reminds me of Eric and the struggle that Eric's going through, and we're not alone. So you'll never be alone as long as I'm drawing breath, my friend.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, and I could probably put in a good word when I get this thing off my ankle. You could probably come down to Miley's and take a dip in the pool. We'll
Yeah.
hang out.
All right.
All right, brother. I love you long time, man.
Love you too.
Do not isolate from me and RJ or the guys that you can reach out to. Keep talking to Ben. I don't give a fuck if you annoy the shit out of that son of a gun. Annoy him, do whatever you got to do, and let's agree to do another podcast in a month and see how things are going. That sound good?
All right, that worked.
All right, buddy. Well, take care, everybody. We had a few people listening, dude. This is the first time I've done this. It's pretty exciting. Everybody listen on Facebook Live. Thank you for listening. And this is Eric, and he's a badass. We'll catch you later.